right, guys, let's get started. Let me get my data here. So I had set up one thing and then it moved on me. So we moved down a little bit and well, we moved up a tiny bit in Tesla and down a little bit in Tesla. Sorry. In Tesla, we moved down a little bit and in Tesla, sorry, I'm trying to get some data over here on the trades, even though I've already put them in there. Uh, I like to show them. So just preparing that. All right. So what happened is we moved down 0.2, right? 20% of 1%. So not much at all. 220.25 to 219.80. And we moved from 1510 up to 1511 in Tesla. So that's cool. So here are the trades. Primarily, they were buy a call, right, on our synthetic 260, sell short a put, and then do the same number of contracts. Remember, we had already rolled all our weeklies. So now we can go look at that on the sheet. And remember, when we're down, we're at 219. When we buy a call and sell a put, the put's like almost $40 underneath the strike price. So it was probably a little bit higher when we sold it. So, but we got nice money out of that. That always happens when you have that situation. So here's that trade, right? 726, 650 contract. We buy a call for $1.14. We sell a put for 39.94. Why? Because we're all the way $40 underneath, which can be made up very quickly, right? I expect Bitcoin to run this weekend and a little bit into next week. Sorry, guys, that has nothing to do. Well, in a weird way, the AI and stuff, but I've done too many Misties and Conies, and I'm on Tesla. Sorry about that, guys. Um, they did it from an earnings, right? We got shoved down, but I have a feeling we could bounce and bounce back to. I see that gap I showed you yesterday around 236. I think we could work our way up and then maybe come back and consolidate. But it wouldn't surprise me if we pushed up to that level over the next weeks or months. Um, and we'll see. I mean, again, what do they have in October, though? That could really set us back up. They have the FSD that was pushed out from October. Again, I'm in Tesla, but very bullish on the underlying over 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years on what all technology they have. That's really the play. And I do a lot of plays on Tesla itself, but I'll collect income because I don't see much downside. Sure, in the short term, we could have some, but I'm not worried about that. All right, so on the weekly, this allows us to add the contracts that we had. So now we're stacked up 34,300. We're 4% out of the money for our lowest one, 7% here on the 237s, and 6 on the 235. So we got a lot, which is the bulk of our contract. So based on the fact, whoops, this should be 219. Whoops, I went the wrong way. There we go. And this is just a penny more, but might as well make it right. Okay. So we got, you saw that. This was down a hair and this was up a penny. So on the holdings, we always get all our detail. Let me make sure I went over, sorry guys, on this. So these are all of our positions. So the 650 got us $2.81. All these other guys were already done, and these were already closed out yesterday. So that's why we're not showing anything there. The only new one was this one on 7/26. So we collected 182,000. So there were 100,000 shares, which is not a lot at all out of 50 million for um, Tesla, Tsly. So let's get over here to holdings where we learn a lot more. So there's our cash. We still have 133 total because remember, we have two synthetics. We have a 260 and a 265, but we added to the 260. So this number is now 32,985. And this guy is 32,985. So apologies for that. So we have 130 million loss. And I have it, but just a hair more by adding those contracts, right? So I'm not going to change it right now. I'll change it tomorrow. I don't want to take your time. So at the end of the day, our synthetic is not that, it went down a little bit because we dropped down a small amount. But actually, it's a little bigger than that. So I should 3397 on the contract count. I should update this. 455, and this one is, there's where we get our bigger amount of money, 401,796. Okay, so we do in fact have 130. Without the 600 contracts, we looked better. That got 650. So 130, but better than a couple days ago. We've bounced off that real low. How do we look on our weeklies? Well, we look better. We could actually buy back this next week weeklies because only 600 were added. All the other ones are already in place. So dropping a little bit, we gain. So we're 54% captured of the 9.8 million we've written. So that's good. We just want that synthetic to move up. We want this to move up too. But from 219, we don't really want it. We don't want it to go by this 235 because that's the big number. So what did that tell us? We've got 7%, 6.92% with this being the right number. So you can see we've captured 54 on that. Okay, so let's jump on to, so fair value is 1511. They're saying fair value is 1512. We closed at 1511. Let's go look at payouts. Again, it's a fairly good story. Good in that we've collected the income to pay ourselves, right? Because we added a little bit of money here. We added this 2 million, a little over 2 million by buying the low call, selling the high put. So that's fine. At 50 million shares, we have 206. The problem, again, this is always a decision that Yieldmax has to make, right? You have 206 in the kitty that you could pay right now. So let's assume we don't lose the weeklies. That includes this week. We'll have one more weekly. They don't have to roll this till 8/16. So what are they going to pay you? Assuming we stay 160, 180, 200. Well, my guess is they're going to go down here yielding, at $1 on 17. It was probably like I don't have it in front of me, like a 70% yield. So they, at 101 on the current price, it's an 80% yield. So I suspect if they went like, 91, that would give us a 72. That would get us closer. So they may choose to pay lower even though the piggy bank is full because of that liability. Again, that's a Yieldmax decision. It's easier when we win and we have a bunch of money and we don't have a loss over there. You get a feel that they're going to pay a substantial portion of that. So I think they're going to go more around the IV price. And if we're lower here, that means a lower yield, or sorry, that means a lower payout to have an equal yield, right? Somebody can do the math and divide whatever it was. 17, 18. I think it was in the 17s when we got the dollar. It's easy to look up on the website, and it will tell you the yield as of that last payment. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you. Not rocket science on this one. I think Tesla's humming along, doing just fine. We'll knock down this 140 million. So it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Have a great weekend. I'm sure you earned it after this week. Okay, guys, bye for now.